to Pallegney and my Terralife Plus play along, learn along series. Still don't know what to call it. Still pre-recording these ahead of release, and I've skipped ahead to week 3 of April. And I thought I'd do a quick tour of the crops that we've planted. So I've picked myself up a little quad bike to get around the farm because realism is key after all. So in the herb grass field, we've advanced to growth state, but not really any obvious signs of growth here. Actually, we may as well just quickly run across to the lupine field, and the same here. It's not really any obvious signs of growth, and actually, seeing as the grass field is just over the back here, save ourselves a bit of driving again. No really obvious signs of growth. I suspect that might be a trend with this first growth state, but we'll have a quick whiz around the farm and have a look. Yes, I am driving without a crash helmet on. I'll be fine. I almost never crash. I have awesome driving skills. And then we have advanced to the point. Oh, the grass has come on nicely. We've got some nice flowers in the grass. So kind of cool. So at growth state 18, that says forage state. So let's have a quick look at the growth in the map, shall we? So still growing, not harvest ready. I guess, I mean, it says forage, so we probably could cut that. Not sure if we'd get a reduced yield or not, but it's certainly looking quite nice as it grows in the sunflowers. No real obvious growth there. And then we'll cut across our unplanted field. This is going to have our silage maize going in it. I'm going to lease a planter for that. And over to our field grass. And again, a pattern of no obvious growth there. So I think the last field that we have to check is the fodder carrots and actually the pasture for the cow. So let's cut up here. Benefit of having the quad bike. That's the sheep pasture there. I'm probably on the wrong side of the road. No. Exchange. And up here. No. Wrong way. We will be heading up there later, and we'll check on the winter wheat when we go up that way. Our cow pasture is just here, so I think as get used to the game, there might be a little bit of this having to tour the fields to see how things are growing on. So yeah, this is actually pretty well grown on actually. So maybe next month we'll get the cows. There's a decent amount of cover on that field, at least visually anyway. So yeah, we'll just use this person's driveway to turn around, and we'll head down to the fodder carrots, and I'll just knock their bin over. They're used to be crashing into stuff by now. So yeah, the plan is to get the silage corn planted today. Just a way to get to... Let's go that way. Yeah, cut down and get the silage corn in the ground. We've got 2 fields that I plan to plant with that. I'm going to lease a planter. We're not going to use the Novak for this. Just want to see what kind of planting texture we get. And yeah, no visual change, but we have progressed a growth state, so that's cool. No signs of weed growth either. So, yeah. Right, that's that done. So let's jump in the Voltra. We're going to use the Voltra for putting the silage in. Silage corn in. think we're going to use something from the horse pack, which I don't think I've used before, so I have got that open. We can cut in here. Perfect. Let's stick that in the corner. I've had a little bit of a tidy up. I got the other fields rolled, so they're all good to go. And yeah, I'm just going to lease this plant because I was going to have another big bit of kit sitting around on the farm. I'm not doing anything after today, so... Oh, I left that pallet of seed there. So, we'll just get them to deliver it straight to the field. Just because that'll make my life a little bit easier. I've forgotten to add proceed again. I do think it might be worth putting tram lines in this. So, I'll be right back. Right, to that added. So, I have the Xylon 524, which comes with a 21 meter sprayer. So I like to do 3 rows per tram line. So we'd want a 7 meter seeder, planter, ideally. And what I was looking at using is this, which is 6.7 meters, which kind of works. There'll be a little bit of overlap, but not too much. And I'm not sure I've used this before. So I think this could work quite well. So we're going to lease this guy. We're going to get the front box as well. Yes. So we'll put fur in the front. We'll put seed on the back. And hopefully that'll work okay. Please tell me I've come at that in the right direction. Not for the box. Okay. Unless I was using a reverse drive, which we're not going to do, because you wouldn't do that for planting. But we have got that set up on this tractor for mowing. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to getting lots of silage work done on here. So that's that. Back up. We need to buy some fertilizer and we need to buy some seed. So let's get a big bag of fert. And then we'll go into seeds and guess it's grains. Grain maize. Oh, I should have had a look before. Okay. Field fodder. That would make sense, would it? Silage maize. And let's get a 600 litre pallet should be enough. Yes. Okay. So if we select the front and open that up, and what I'm going to do is swing as far over as possible so that we get the fertilizer. Perfect. And then we'll put the seed in the back. I might need to bring the JCB over to do that. Not sure. No, awesome. And 600 litres was perfect. Although we have 2 fields to plant, so maybe not perfect. Also don't have my proceed menu up because I don't think I activated it even though I installed it. So again, I will be back. There we go. We have proceed up. Interesting that it's gone with a 7 meter working with. If I do BCA and they seem to have BCA going 6.8. So I guess proceeds probably just rounding. So right, let's think about how we want to seed this field. Let's get rid of the store point. It's kind of a weird shape, isn't it? If we do long runs that way, I think we're going to do them on this direction. You can't see what I mean by this direction because I'm not set up on the direction yet, which is helpful, I know, but I mean this direction. So yeah, I think we're going to do a heading of 0 degrees like that. But what we need to do first... Oh, come on. Thank you. Please respond, tractor. Is we are going to... I had issues with this tractor earlier. Not responding sometimes. Is... two things we're going to do. We're going to start our headlands at the field entrance. Start the first one just a little bit back from the field entrance. We are going to start on semi-automatic. We are going to go with a 21 meter tram line. We're going to put that on number 3. That should work. And I'm going to adjust the precision farming to manual application rate. And we're going to put on, let's call it 80 kilograms. Basically, I don't want to go all the way with the fertilization because that means we have some fertilizing to do at some point in the year. Let's close the front bin up. Let's turn on the planter and start planting. So we have stones again, which is a little bit annoying. Not the end of the world. My dodgy driving. You'll get used to that if you're new here. Get used to that. Yeah, so I'm going to... I had left stones on. Actually, the other thing I'm curious about, and we will check early. No, we're not going to need to roll this field. So, we're going to turn fieldstone back off so we're not taking the damage from it. So it's just left over from the map spawning. One of those real annoyances of when you don't want to play with stones, but it appears at the start of the save. One of those things. Not a massive problem. I do love that as part of going through the crops that you wouldn't necessarily want to roll. The need to roll has been removed, and I think that's brilliant. It was one of my pet peeves with the game early on. That, because if you roll this, you lose the texture that you get from planting it, and yeah, it just frustrates me. So I'm probably frustrating people by the way that I'm doing this planting and the fact that I'm sweeping around the corners. As I've said a few times, not a farmer, and I want to achieve a result. So it's just going to have to live with it. And also not going to worry about completely planting every inch of the field. This may trigger some of you, because you may be used to painting in all of the field. The farmers locally to me, which is sometimes what I base what I do on, do not necessarily worry about getting every millimetre of the field planted. And in fact, they do sweep the plant, or the cedars certainly, round corners. And that means fields that have corners where the radius of the turn that they make with the cedar doesn't match the radius of the corner of the field, those bits of the field do not get crop put in them. So, yep, that's what I'm doing here. And that's partly to make my life a little bit easier with Proceed. So, yep. And you'll see why in a moment when we go to the second headland and we start to put in the tram line. How are we doing for seed usage? We used a couple hundred litres already, so we are going to probably need a few more pallets of seed to get this done, which is fine. Not going to be a problem. So what I'm going to do is pull up to here. And then raise, and because we're on semi-automatic mode, when I lower, so I'm going to turn that annoying sound off. I'm going to get rid of that. When I lower the seeding out, we will start to put in the tram line. So I'm going to back up to the entrance. So as the tram line goes in, it's formed from the entrance to the field. There we go. So again, this is how I like to do tram lines. It may not be perfect, it may not be super realistic, how I like to do it. And the reason that I do 3 is because odd numbers are much easier. And 3 matches the sprayer that we've got. And I wanted to use the Fent pack that Giants put out as part of the FarmCon stuff. I've not used it yet, so it's got a 21 metre sprayer. That roughly matches us doing 3 rows per tram line. So, and it is worth doing Proceed with Terralife, because you are going to be dealing with weeds growing, and you probably are going to want to be spraying. So, and crop destruction is a part of Terralife. So, yeah, turning it off kind of takes away from the work that the team have done to create crop destruction, and the fact that crops will try and recover from it. And so I think you should be playing with crop destruction on, and having tram lines helps with that. So. But also, it just makes it easier, doesn't it? If you've got tram lines in the field, and you've set them up properly, you just drive around the tram lines, and you don't need to worry about GPS or anything like that. Follow the tram lines, and you're good. Unless you're awful at doing tram lines, like I am sometimes. I also think they look really cool. And, you know, if you're playing with Terralife, you're probably, to some extent, a fan of realism, which is weird for me to talk about, because I never claim to play realistically. And tram lines, certainly in the UK, I assume across Europe, maybe not so much. I don't know about the US, but certainly across the UK, tram lines are a real feature of farming. Believe in Europe as well, from, you know, doing stuff with Paul. So, yep. That's why I like to put them in. They make it feel to me like a real field. Seeing the tram lines, and I'm a little bit annoyed that I didn't remember to install it from the start. But it did also mean that I didn't have to think quite so much when I was planting the rest of the fields. Yep, there is that. Quite often doing corn, I wouldn't necessarily put tram lines in, but when I was doing corn planting with Paul on Terralife streams, he had me put tram lines in, so we're going with tram lines. And we'll just ease around the corner, and then I'm going to try and just blend this into the existing tram line that we've created. Now, one way of making this work a little bit better, which I've not done here, is if you now turn the planter off, you can create the tram line still without destroying so much of what you've planted. Not super neat, but you know, you're trying to create an effect. So anyway, we'll go back on, back down. I'll get our third headland in, and isn't really a lesson in proceed. I don't claim to be a super expert in creating tram lines. I have got a tutorial on using proceed, but that's more about the mechanics of it. But anyway, I'll get this other one in and we'll be back in a bit. So the headlands are done. I've switched into auto mode because with proceed, auto mode now works with VCA. I don't use guidance steering. I always prefer to use VCA. We're on run number 1 now. So that was my dog coughing that you may have heard in the background. We do need to put more seed in soon, but yeah, we're going to just do a quick demo of that. I haven't used, I still tend to use semi-automatic mode with proceed. It's just what I got used to for so long because it took a while for proceed to get integrated with VCA, so I just kept using semi-automatic mode, and I almost forgot that it had been updated to work with VCA in auto mode. So we're going to try auto mode out. That means I have to think less because I don't have to remember which run I'm on. So we're on run 1 at the moment on our VCA course. I'm actually not on the heading that I was planning to, but it's good enough for government work. So we'll lift up. You should see as we move across, we move to track 2. Yep. And what I'm going to do is what I mentioned before. Turn off the seeder, lower it down, come through, and then turn it on. And so what that does is it creates the tram line without destroying what you've planted. And we'll do the same when we get to the other end. And I find that works quite well. Yeah, I will probably, depends where we end up actually. We might be okay, we might not. Looks like we're not going to end up with the tram line going through the power pole. Because I might have ended up upsetting people because they don't have collisions. So, you know, what we do need is to get an emergency delivery of seed to the field. So, seeds, fodder, maize, silage, 600 litre pallet by, yes please. Let's just back up. We can actually raise that up without worrying because we're on auto mode now. And you could just drive across the field and come back because it's using auto mode. It would remember. But just trying to get jobs done. So let's push that back on, lower it back down, get into a forward gear and get going again. Yeah. So again, what I do is turn off the seeder now, and that lets you pull the tram line into the existing tram lines without seeding over anything, and I find that works quite well. So, and then we can just go back to normal because we moved on to track 3. So yeah, quick demo of that helps if you turn the seeder on, I find. Quick demo of that. I'm going to get some more of this done and we'll be back. Why do I always say okay? Anyway, finished the other field up and we are up at the second silage sorghum field. I have switched computers, so I may sound a little bit different. I don't know. And we're going to get this field planted. I've also refilled the fertilizer and seed. I don't know if this will be enough. It's not a particularly big field actually, so it might be. We'll see how we go on. And then that'll be it for today. So the first part of this video was recorded pre-release. This bit is being recorded in the afternoon post-release. It's been a busy old morning with support on the Discord. A few things that people have spotted, so they'll be picked up in updates in the future. It seems to be that people are having issues with running out of memory when they're trying to load Terralife Plus. It seems to be people that particularly have lower amounts of memory in their computer. Currently, two recommended solutions. First one is switching to running with DirectX 11 rather than DirectX 12. That seems to help because it means FarmSim uses less memory. Or install less mods, because that helps as well. So it amazes me actually, and if you're one of these people, then and you're offended by what I'm about to say, I'm not bothered. It amazes me the amount of people that you've got this game-changing mod that completely changes how FarmSim works, and they're starting off with like 500 mods in their mods folder, many of which change how the game works. It's like, experience Terralife first. How do you know if... experience this. This is awesome. I don't think I have more than 30 mods in my mods folder, if that. And most of those are bits of equipment that I think I want. Experience the mod. Don't put in a whole load of mods that change how the game works when you're trying to experience this completely game-changing mod. Another rant, but yeah, I've been providing support all day, so anywho. First two videos are released now. First video has done amazingly well, apart from the odd kind of stupid comment. Yes, my voice sounds like this. It is what it is. If you don't like it, don't watch. Anyway, yeah, we'll get the silage in, and then I think it's really going to be a case of skipping ahead a bunch. We're going to need to get this field fertilized some more. We need to get the alfalfa fertilized, so that might be next video. If we skip ahead maybe a couple of days, maybe we'll skip ahead a day, see how the fields look, get the alfalfa fertilized because that's growing anyway, get this field grown on a little bit more, and then come back with maybe some liquid fertilizer spray. Obviously keeping an eye on the weeds. We need to get the cows in, so yeah, going to be good. So one of the issues that someone has pointed out is there are some issues with a couple of the TMR recipes. So that is something that does need to be fixed. I think it's the 4 and the 10-month-old TMRs. Yeah. So it kind of is what it is at the moment. It's we'll get them sorted, and just be a little bit patient, as I've said a few times. It's a massively complicated mod. And the other thing that kind of amazes me, and I kind of get it in a way, but it's like at release, within minutes of release, how do I add it to a map? You don't. Enjoy the maps that it's in. You've even if you have downloaded it, you've barely had a chance to experience it, and you're worrying about how to add it to another map. And so just play one of the maps and experience it for a bit. It's such an in-depth mod. There's so much that I don't know about it, particularly having people answer questions. As I said before, I know people are so much further through this than I am already within the few hours that it's been released from the questions that have come up, and people asking really cool questions. And yeah, I've been watching some of the guys providing support. I've been helping where I can with the bits that I know, and then like quickly trying to dig in to the XML. Realism fans are not going to like this bit, but need to get around this corner to work out how things work, to try and answer questions. And yeah, it's release date is always a busy one. Or release weekend is a busy one. So yeah. Anyway, it's kind of fun. It's kind of a bit exciting. I find a bit nerve-wracking. Is it all going to work? Is it all going to hang together? Generally, it seems to be. I don't think there's been anything kind of game-breaking. There was a small update to one of the components. I don't remember which one. All it was the version number hadn't been put to version 1 correctly. So yeah, that got sorted. And so you might have seen that one of them, you'll see that one of them is showing as it has an update, but it's not a significant update. So yeah. Right, let's get GPS set. What kind of heading do we want to run on for this field? Let's have a little look. I'll try and pick a nice angle. Guessing it's going to be 15 degrees. Could we do 20? I got 5 degrees. Let's set 5 degrees in VCA. And then that's not going to work, is it? We're going to miss a bit if we run at that, actually. I don't really want to run at 19 degrees either. I don't really want to run at 15 degrees. Maybe we will run at 19 and a half. That doesn't sound like a good number, does it? Let's go back to 5 degrees. Let's just nudge it across so that we should be okay. And then we will switch from semi to auto, because then I don't have to think quite so much, and we can drop that down, and off we go. And we are already quite low on seed, so we we are going to have to put more seed in. So that's fine. I meant to work out how much more silage we're going to get compared to just doing normal maize. But I haven't, so we'll do that at some other point. The multiplier is a little bit more, say a little bit. I've got a rough idea of the numbers in my head, so let's very quickly do a very rough calculation. I think it's about 30% more. I'll pick up that little missed bit on when I tidy up. Actually, I'm not even going to worry about that. It's not worth it. Yeah, it's about 30% more, I think. Doing a very rough calculation. Don't hold me to that. Don't quote me on that. And that's assuming that I've remembered the multipliers correctly in the converter. So, yeah, roughly 30% more. Give or take a bit. So that's why it's worth planting the silage corn if you want to do silage. And if we look in the calendar, it looks like it's going to be ready earlier as well. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and we are out of seed. So let's switch that off, and the store are very kindly going to quickly come over and deliver us. I reckon another 300 litres might be enough. Let's lift that up. Come on. No, I didn't mean to press that. B. Really doesn't want to pick up sometimes. This tractor seems to have all sorts of funky little features going on. only seems to be this, the Voltra. So, maybe we'll trade it in for something else. Anyway, you can get a wheel slip as well. I think I'm going to worry about at this point. And yeah, nice small field. Should be nice and quick to get planted. And I can get this video edited and uploaded for the well, not for the morning, for tomorrow. I can carry on playing. I have this has been the most that I've played FS in quite a while. It's great. I love it. And all I've done so far is plant the crops. It's, yeah. I've not been... that might sound weird because obviously I'm quite close to Terralife and the team, and I've played little bits of Terralife, but the stuff that I do with the streaming and did with the streaming and things, quite often that was just we would jump on and play for a bit. And it wasn't kind of the way I like to play, where I'm working towards achieving something, where here I am, I'm working towards, a dairy farm. So, yeah, I'm excited about progressing this. And to the point where I'm playing a lot more. And I was kind of keen to get on and play some more today, but I knew that the next thing I needed to do was finish recording, doing this field. So I'm not going to roll this field. So I will just skip ahead to the next day from here. And we'll get the alfalfa fertilised. We'll maybe skip ahead another day then, and we'll look at getting this field fertilised. We'll keep an eye on the weeds and the growth, and we'll just keep progressing. And until we get the animals, we'll be able to progress time quite rapidly. Initially when we get the animals, I think the pasture that we're looking at putting them in does need water, but apart from that, they should be grazing. So we shouldn't need to do too much in terms of caring for them. So again, we should be able to progress quite quickly. That's my hope. You know what they say about plans and working with animals and all that kind of thing. So we'll see how that actually goes. I say thank you to patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are all awesome. Yeah, we're pretty much done for today. So that's all the crops in the ground. It's now just a case of looking after them, getting to the point where we can mow grass and start making bales and stuff. That's going to be fun. Obviously keeping an eye on our bales rotting, because that is a thing with Terralife. Come on, let me move the camera. You go away. There we go. Right. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you're enjoying playing with Terralife now. And I'll see you next time.